Greetings from Boston. Welcome to Tennis Talk Daily. I wanted to do a short video on the final between John Isner and Alex Zverev. What an amazing final. Let's talk about this. Leave your commentary. I thought this was a great match, and it proves that we can have fun watching tennis without Roger Federer around. It was a phenomenal match. Both players, I thought, played at a very high level. I thought Zverev was able to hold it together in an impressive way, particularly given his recent history. He did hold it together, I think, until kind of the very end when he came unglued after Isner broke him in the third set, threw his racket, probably lost some emotional control that could have helped him in that final game, possibly break Isner back, but he wasn't able to do so. I thought Isner, in fact, was not even playing at as high of a level today as he was early in the week. And so the match is significant in that regard, too, because Isner was able to win without bringing his full game to the court today in a way. Now, in the first set, he was really off the mark, but in the second two sets, it was really kind of just enough to do it, just enough. So it's significant because Isner, 32 years old. Strange to say that he has a bright future in professional tennis, but he does. He may be a real contender going forward, because if he can bring the same level of play in future tournaments as he brought to Cilic, as he brought to Del Potro, well, now that's going to be something to consider. Isner is a new player here in a way, a new contender, a new factor that we are going to have to look very closely at. This style of game was working so well for him, the big serves and the big forehands, and that was just kind of enough. That's kind of Delpo's game too. Well, he beat Delpo at his own game, didn't he, Isner? And he played Delpo's game better than Delpo really has ever played it. But he didn't even need to bring that level to beat Zverev in this final, so that is really significant. Listen, this is something of a blow for the next-gen people. Obviously, Alex Zverev wanted to take this title, his third Masters 1000 title, and it's something of a blow for the next-gen people trying to break through. They are trying to break through. They're kind of percolating there underneath, and they did quite well at Indian Wells, and then they did even better in Miami, and I did that comparative analysis. Now, by the time the semifinals came around, you still had only one next-gen player, but you did have a next-genner in the final. In the end, however, a 32-year-old veteran of the sport prevailed over the next generation. And so this match provides some continuing support for the thesis that the older players are doing better than they ever have before. The 32-year-old beats the 20-year-old rising star who was playing phenomenally this week. How do we explain that? Earlier in the 2017 year, you had Kevin Anderson kind of come out of nowhere, and there he was in the final of the U.S. Open. He was 30 years old. You've got Del Potro, 29 years old, winning Indian Wells. Now a 32-year-old winning the Miami Open. And of course, there's Federer. There's all the other older players who have been doing quite well. So the old guard still stands. They're still holding strong. And it is, as I've said so many times before, historically unprecedented. But let me say this. John Isner deserves it. He's a hard worker. He's a nice guy. Got that boyish face. And he fought hard here, and he was able to psych himself up and turn it around. He was not looking great at the beginning of that second set. Zverev was looking very confident, came out and held his service game at love. Isner was looking down and dejected a little bit. He was going down to his knees and breathing. I guess that was in the third set a little bit too, but in the second set he just looked down. down and depressed and negative. Well, he was the 32-year-old Isner at 6'10" was able to turn it around, to psych himself up and to turn the match around. And he won the second two sets more decisively than Zverev could win the first set. So this was, in the end, sort of a decisive win. Both players played very well. Congratulations to Alex Zverev. He does have a bright future. But even more congratulations to John Isner, who deserves this. And as a 32-year-old, he does have a bright future somehow. So those are my 2 cents. Leave comments below. Let's talk about this. What happened? Did Zverev fall apart a little bit there at the end? Or was Zverev holding strong and it just was Isner winning this match? It was just Isner kind of bringing back enough of that lethal game that he was playing against Cilic and Del Potro, bringing back just enough of it to prevail over Zverev. What do you think happened? What do you think ultimately was the problem for Zverev? Was it his youth? What was it, his relative inexperience? It might have been, because the experience did probably help Isner, did probably enable him to kind of turn it around. He's been in that spot a lot more times than Zverev has. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I will have much more to come very soon. Be well. Bye-bye.